The average cost to rent over a lifetime is well over $1 million, and you'll pay over $2 million to rent in California or New York. Buying the average home at $440,000 will take you decades and cost over $1.2 million with interest and taxes. Buying versus renting your home is the most important financial decision you will ever make. It's a decision my family recently had to make on our move to Tampa, and it's one you'll have to make at least once in your lifetime. Now, I've said before that buying makes no sense by the numbers, but it's still the right thing to do financially for most people. Buying a home is like a forced savings plan that can help you save hundreds of thousands of dollars for retirement. Or at least, that used to be the thinking. Right now, something is happening in the housing market that has never happened before. Something we didn't even see in the housing bubble, and it's totally changing the answer to buy versus rent. The housing market just flipped the script. I'm going to show you how that answer has changed, the pros and cons of both buying and renting, 2 ways to know which is right for you, and how we answered that question just last month. We're getting started, but before we do, I've got to send that special shout out to all you out there in the nation. Thank you for spending a part of your day to be here. If you're not part of that community yet, just click that little red subscribe button. It's free and you'll never miss an episode. Nation, the nerd in me always wants to answer these kinds of questions with the numbers, but sometimes it's not that easy. Buying a home is worth about a 5% return from not having to pay rent. You also get that price appreciation, which is averaged just under 4%, but then you have to pay property taxes and maintenance. When all is said and done, the return on home ownership works out to be around 5.25% a year. Compare that with the 8% annual return you get from investing your money in stocks, or the 12% return in tech stocks, and the answer should be obvious. Just rent your home and put that down payment into the market instead. But while buying a home instead of renting looks dumb on the numbers, it's actually one of the smartest financial decisions most people can make. That's because people are horrible at saving money. Yeah, I said it. Let's be honest here, folks. Given the choice between saving for retirement or buying that mocha coca cappuccino, most people would wash it down with a dozen donuts as well. But now when you buy a home, you've got that monthly mortgage payment that's like a forced savings plan. With every payment, you're adding a little more equity that you can someday cash out. Well, that's what I used to think, but this year, everything changed. The housing market has been turned upside down. Now let's back up a little bit because I want you to understand the pros and cons of buying versus renting, reasons why one might make more sense for you. With buying, you do get that forced savings plan, a built-in investment that even the worst shopaholics can count on for retirement. You also get the pride of ownership and the stability that comes with it, with some studies showing homeowners are actually happier than renters. You also get deductions on your income taxes for interest and property taxes. And now if I miss any of the pros and cons on either of these, let me know in the comments. Of course, the downside to buying a home is you're kind of at the mercy of the market if you need to sell fast. With renting a home though, you can pack up and move if you don't like the neighbors. You've also got a predictable monthly expense. When the air conditioner breaks and it feels like you're cooking people burgers in the middle of June in Phoenix, you just call the landlord instead of draining your bank account. Investing that $30,000 down payment in stocks at an 8% annual return grows to more than $300,000 over 30 years. Buy a home though, and you're going to lose nearly $200,000 in difference on your returns. Now, the downside of renting is you're always going to be at the mercy of your landlord. Most states have no laws limiting how much rents can be raised, or landlords can always decide to sell the house. Now, if you do decide to rent, how would it feel to have your dividend stocks pay for your rent? Okay, dumb question, I know. It would be freaking awesome. So check out the video linked below for 7 monthly dividend stocks that will do just that. 7 stocks for monthly cash flow to pay your rent. Now, this is normally where the video would just end. I give you the pros and cons of buying versus renting and send you on your merry way to decide what's best for you. But this year, the game has changed. According to the Wall Street Journal, the housing market is seeing something that hasn't happened in more than 40 years. Not even in the housing bubble was it this bad, and it's causing 1 in 5 home buyers to back out of their contracts in July alone. People that already signed to buy a home saying, nope, this changes the decision. It could also be one of the first signs of another crash in real estate. The interest rate on the 30-year mortgage has doubled to over 6% this year, and home prices have jumped 40% since the start of 2019. That means the median home price in the United States is now $440,000, up from just $300,000 just a few years ago. And normally you would expect asking rents to keep up with those home prices. The home is an investment, so if the value goes up, then how much the investor makes on rent should go up as well, right? But now that hasn't happened. While asking rents are heading higher, they haven't kept up with those home prices. You see, because of the eviction moratorium during the pandemic, many landlords didn't raise their rents. Why increase the rent if you can't evict somebody for not paying? Landlords just wanted to get something instead of nothing. In the fourth quarter of 2020, the average mortgage rent and the asking rent were about the same at $1,200 a month. Since then, rents are up just 10% nationally to $1,314 in June, according to the Census Bureau, while mortgage payments are up 58% to $1,893. That has made the mortgage to rent trade-off spike to 1.5 times. Buying a home is now 1.5 times more expensive than renting, something that hasn't happened in decades, even during the housing bubble. Now, home price growth has slowed since June, and home sales have been falling for months. Home buyers are actually backing out of contracts that could be the sign of the next crash in real estate. And I know what you're saying. All these numbers, they work out in a general sense, whether it's better to buy or rent a home for most. But how do you tell when you should be buying versus renting? What is right for you? So here, I want to give you 2 ways to know exactly when you should buy and when you should keep renting. First is what I call the Burrell Rule, now BURL. It stands for buy utility, rent luxury. Now, the Burrell Rule is a great common sense idea that says if it's something you absolutely need, then you own it. It's a utility purchase, the minimum you need to get by. Luxury, though, that's something beyond what you need. It's that exercise room that you're never going to use, or the swimming pool that's going to cost $1,000 in maintenance every year. If the home you're going to be buying includes a lot of these luxuries that you don't need, you should rent instead. For example, here in Tampa, if we were to buy a 4-bedroom house, around 1,600 square feet, no pools, fancy bells or whistles, pretty much the minimum we need for 3 bedrooms and my office, we could get something like that for just under $300,000 or $170 per square foot. But before moving, we knew we wanted to live in a community with lots of amenities. We ended up in Corey Lake Isle, and well, for a kid born on the wrong side of the tracks, this place is amazing. We've got a community pool with a slide, 4 parks, a lake with a beach, and lakefront right outside the house. Oh, it's fun, and there's always something to do, but it's definitely a luxury. The average price of homes in the area right now is $693,000, way over that base utility house that we would buy. In fact, even on a 20% down payment, a 30-year mortgage would cost us $4,750 a month, way more than this cheap ass is willing to pay. So instead of buying the luxury, we're going to rent because of that Burrell Rule. That for $2,400 a month, we get all the benefits of the community and save thousands of dollars. And the second way to know whether buying versus renting is best for you is going to take some brutal honesty on your part. So remember when I said buying is the smarter choice, even if the numbers don't quite make sense? That most renters will end up spending that extra money each month instead of saving and investing it? Well, are you most people? And now, hey, before you answer, I know we're all special, unique little snowflakes that nobody thinks of themselves as given to these human mistakes, but most of us are. Think back to those times when you had that extra money in your budget. How much of it did you save, and how much went to buying that treadmill that is now a $1,200 coat rack? Are you someone that saves money regularly and then doesn't blow it every year? Do you have an investment account that you deposit into each and every month? If not, you might just be better on that forced savings plan called a home mortgage. Click on the video to the right for the 7 monthly dividend stocks that will pay your rent. 7 stocks that are going to put cash in your pocket every month, whether you're buying or renting. Don't forget to join the Let's Talk Money community by tapping that subscribe button and clicking the bell notification.